So what was the toughest challenge you faced in the millwork project, and how did you and your team overcome it?
As far as a recent challenge would be our large project down in San Francisco, the Helen Diller Anchor House, which was a phenomenally large, challenging, and honestly.
So what was the toughest challenge you faced in the millwork project, and how did you and your team overcome it? So definitely in your I think path you'll face many challenges.
Right.
But if you have anything, if you have remember in the last 2 years, 3 years, if you I think faced anyone in the project,
Yeah.
how you and your team overcome it?
Well, I mean, as far as a recent challenge would be our large project down in San Francisco, the Helen Diller Anchor House, which was a phenomenally large, challenging, and honestly quite impressive, set of or a build, right? So we were responsible for at Crestmark, for $7 million worth of millwork in that particular project, which
It's big, yeah.
is big, and it was the largest project that Crestmark had ever taken on at that point. They had already, when I signed on, they already had the project in hand.
Okay.
So, also coming to realize just how big that project was and how much it was going to take to get it done, that was one of the biggest challenges that we had, and trying to get enough resources together. And that's one of the reasons why we wound up reaching out to a bunch of different drafting companies. We worked with several different people who were going to help us with actual engineering too.
Okay.
Getting the Microvellum stuff going, because by the time we got to it, we were trying to implement Microvellum before it started.
Okay.
Because we wanted to run most of it through Microvellum. Now we wound up probably doing half of it in Cabinet Vision and half of it in Microvellum.
Okay.
Getting that, and so that also added to the challenge because we had half the team working on Cabinet Vision. We had three new engineers. It was two new engineers and another senior engineer that were at Crestmark already, that were all at AutoCAD based, right?
Okay.
So they didn't really have. Two of them didn't have any experience at all with Cabinet Vision, so
Okay.
we took it. We took that opportunity. We were having them draft things in AutoCAD, and then we made them. Honestly, those two employees wound up becoming our first two Microvellum employees,
Okay.
along with Cameron. Honestly,
Okay.
and but we were so bogged down in work that we had to keep everybody working on the projects in Cabinet Vision as much as possible. So at that point, we realized we couldn't do the draft. We couldn't do drafting ourselves anymore because we were just overloaded with outputs and cut listing. And so reaching out to all these different drafting sources to try to get the projects that were outside of the Helen Diller project, because it had already been drawn, and get those projects taken care of, managing the internal in-house, bringing Microvellum on board, as well as Cabinet Vision. That was quite the juggling act, shall we say? And that was probably one of the biggest challenges that I faced as a
Recently, yeah.
well, certainly recently, and one of the biggest challenges that I faced back in the day was the first time I ever got a chance to do an angled, basically an angled soffit. That was, at a 30 degree angle, I believe, and it was a radius soffit that was
Okay.
a showpiece in a I think it was I want to say it was at the zoo, but that doesn't really sound right. But in Denver, and so going through the mathematical challenges because at the time there was nothing that could really take that shape,
Okay.
right? Because when you have a cone,
Okay.
because that's what that essentially is you have a cone and you have to create to create the parts that you need to cut out for the cone, and to try to program that and get it off the CNC was very challenging. And learning how to take what nowadays is actually a fairly simple thing for many of our softwares. Learning how to do that and flatten those shapes and actually create the right cuts to give us the right parts was probably the biggest challenge that I had faced. back as an engineer.
Engineer. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I face a similar challenges. I told you actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. It's the first ever project we did at Quad is something like it's not a slope top. It's a I think hanging
Mhm.
ceiling panels.
Right.
Yeah. This is also like that. Similar.
Right.
Yeah. It'll have some
Which they were
twisted-
sloped
yeah,
and
twisted kind of a panel
Right.
hanging with the cables help and sort of top. And yeah, it's like this. It's I think it's a church, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, instead of the
Mhm.
in
Might have been a
schools,
church. Yeah.
yeah, schools, church building, something like that. Yeah, for that the prayer hall. So we want that particular thing to be laid out from start to end.
Right.
It will be starting from like this and like this. So we haven't done that. Yeah, we haven't done at the time
Right.
wall ceiling panel Excel. We haven't done ceiling panels. We only done the wall panels and cabinets and stuff like that.
Right.
So ceiling panels are also new, but this time we have been having a hanging twisted ceiling panel. It's the first ceiling panel project. So that's the fourth month actually. Thing started Quad. So we have fourth month. We have no projects. We haven't done only that portfolio thing. So that's the only thing we are doing. We are creating portfolio samples, finding a way, figuring out how to run this company. What are things we need to learn, something like that. Then the digital marketing team, myself, then Angel here. So everybody are working towards the thing. Okay, how to project this company, reach people, something like that. We are doing. At the time, we got this project actually because I'm talking to so many people. I'm very desperate. So desperate to voting start a project. So I want a project for the company. So I said yes. I think I not even think I think read the scope.
Right.
That kind of a mistake I would say.
Sure.
Yeah, I accept that. But I figure out the way to complete that project as client expected. That's one challenge we think we have. I think I've taken and it's successfully executed.